A year ago, I remember asking God, if you allow me to get a check for XYZ, I believe it's possible for me.
Yeah.
I know I got the gift. I know
Yep.
I got the talent, but here's where it gets vulnerable, bro. Because 8-year-old Stevon did not believe that he was worthy enough for somebody to pay him for his gift. And so I'm walking through life on it, bro. I know all these great things. Cool. But
Right.
I'm struggling even with myself when I present my gift because I don't even know if I'm worthy about it or worthy of it. And then go step further. If you tell me no, I internalize,
Yep. That's
even
a
though it's just
rejection.
business,
Mm.
business. But
Yeah.
because I had that limiting belief, bro, it affected everything that I did, man. And so it took
Wow.
some time. It took some time, man, to really get over that.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle, the inspiring podcast challenging norms and helping you redefine vulnerability as a strength. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. Each episode of Vulnerability Muscle dives into a variety of topics such as mental health, social issues, and mindset shifts. We explore the power of vulnerability and fostering meaningful connections, healing, building resilience, and promoting personal growth. Sometimes these conversations are uncomfortable, but good workouts often are. So join us and flex that vulnerability muscle.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. Vulnerability Muscle, the podcast challenging you to redefine vulnerability as a strength. It's a strength that connects us, that helps us heal, that helps us grow. And today I got my bro, Stevon Lester, here. Stefan is a dynamic youth speaker who inspires students with powerful messages of hope, purpose, and resilience. Known for his relatable style and captivating storytelling, Stefan connects deeply with K through 12 and college audiences, motivating them to overcome challenges and unlock their full potential. His life experiences and youthful energy make him a trusted voice for shifting school culture and igniting student success nationwide. What's up, Stefan? How you doing?
My brother, Reggie, man, I'm good, man. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I
Good.
can't complain. Life is good. I had a speaking engagement last night, and so it was pretty late when I got in, and so I took it easy this morning. I got up, I slept
Oh, yeah.
in, and walked the dog just a minute ago. Got some tea, and I'm chilling. So it feels good, man.
It's funny you say that, bro. Honestly, I did the same thing.
Yes.
Late had a speaking engagement myself, and I was like, I'm gonna get up at 5, hit the gym, do what I need to do. But I was like, nah, I need to kind of just sleep in a little bit and regulate myself, bro. So yeah, we on the same type of time, bro.
That's good. That's good, man. I cannot wait to hear the message that you have to share and just hearing how you connect with the youth because I think you do a great job. Your relatability, your storytelling, your humor, like you got a lot of different tools that you use to connect with folks, and I think it's beautiful.
Thank you, man.
Or before we hop into that, I got three questions
Let's
for
do
you.
it.
This is the first thing that comes to mind. So you let me know. It can be a short answer, it can be a long answer, but you let me know the first thing that comes to mind. What comes to mind, Stefan, when you hear the word vulnerability?
I had a feeling that was gonna be the question. I think at its core, bro, I think a lot of us like I'm 25, right? But there is still a piece of me that there is that 8-year-old, that 6-year-old, that 10-year-old Stevon that's still inside of me, right? And I think a lot of times when you start talking about being vulnerable, it's like peeling the covers back on the 25-year-old Stevon and now looking at who Stevon is at 8 years old, you know?
Mm.
And for some of us, we tend to like, bro, this was my thing. I disassociated myself from who I was when I was 8, 6, into who I am now. And it wasn't until about last year that I really started to understand, no, I'm still the same cat that I was back then. And if anything, he'd be so proud of who he became later on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so vulnerability, bro, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I've kind of got better at it as I went through therapy myself, really got around some really good people that allowed me to have a safe place. But it is uncomfortable. But if you can get comfortable in that uncomfortable space of really pulling that cover back, man, I think you'll unlock a whole new level to yourself.
Wow, wow, great answer, man. And I think there was something you said that really stood out to me of how you disassociated from those previous parts of you, that 8-year old, that and call it 12, 13, 14, whatever it is. Like we tend to do that, right? We tend to do that because there's shame in different parts of our story. That some younger version of us was bullied. Some younger version of us didn't have the money to get this, and that. It's all types of different things that we carry shame around from our past. But I'm glad to see that it's all integrating, and because all those parts are you. All
That's
those
it.
parts are you, and that 8-year-old is super proud of the dope stuff that you
Thank
are
you, bro.
doing and the man that you are. So, man, thank you for that. That was good.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. What do you do to center yourself, ground yourself, calm yourself down if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed?
Man, I'm still learning every day, right? It don't take a lot for me to get overstimulated. And so I think for me, it's a couple of different things. I have to do my absolute best to try to make my day as systematic as possible. Now, what I mean by that is we not robots. So, what we do every day will change. Like prime example, Monday, bro, I'm a youth pastor. So one of my kids was in the hospital. So I had to switch everything around to drive up, to the north side of Atlanta to go see my student. So you give grace for moments like that. But for me, I try to control the controllables, number one, right? The things that I know that I can do. So if I know I need to get up at 5 to hit the gym, I can't wait till 3 o'clock in the afternoon to do it because I don't know what's going to come up through there. And then in those moments, bro, when I finally get some time, like, bro, like we just said today, sleep in a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? Got to know where your body is, kind of be self-aware. For me, bro, if I can get out the house, go to a Braves game, a Falcons game, a Hawks game, that has kind of always been my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big sports fanatic. So I would say between that, or at the bare minimum, get by some water, bro. Like just the sound of water going down a stream, a creek. You know what I'm saying? Just some solitude, bro. Things like that really kind of help me just reset myself, clear my head, and get back to the business.
Oof, oof, yes, I love all of that, man. Connecting with nature. You
Yeah,
said something that I thought was I want to point out was that you work out at 5 a.m. because you know by 3, 4 o'clock things could change.
that's
And so you
right.
get the priority on what your workout means to you and you put that at the beginning of the day because we don't know. We step out here and something can happen at noon, kid could get, in the hospital and like things just change. And so putting that priority up front instead of putting it in the back was that stood out to me, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
No, for sure, bro. I always used to tell my friends in college, you got to leave room for life to happen.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy because life is gonna happen to us all. But when you kind of play that, I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow. You leave no room for life to happen. So yeah, man.
man, hey, that's real. That's so real.
Yes, sir.
Last one. What is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Man, man,
Tough question.
it is, bro. And honestly, I gotta go with this one. Only because it was so funny, bro. And in theory, it's not funny. It could have really went south very quickly, but we thank God that it didn't. I was probably about 10, bro. And it was me and my younger brother. I don't remember what we were doing, but we got in trouble. And the reason why this is my favorite childhood memory, bro, you'll see very quickly. I love to laugh. Oh
Mm,
my gosh. If I could just laugh all day, I promise you I would. I get the greatest dopamine hit when I laugh. And
yes.
man, my dad was on the top of the steps. Man, he was giving it to us. He was just yelling, right? We in the living room. So we at the bottom, he at the top, he yelling. He goes to take a step. Now, my dad is a pretty heavy set guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a pretty solid individual, about 6'2", in 250s, 260s. Reggie, bro, he misses the step,
No.
grabs the banister to the stairs, and slides all the way down. But the funniest piece of the story is when he got down, when he got done. We looking at him at the bottom of the steps. We look back up. He done pulled the banister out the wall.
No.
Bruh, oh my gosh. I laughed for 30 minutes straight and then got in trouble for laughing.
I
And
bet
I'm
you
like, you
did.
mad at me because you broke the steps.
You hurt his ego after he hurt himself. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure he
Oh
got you.
man. I'm telling you, bro, greatest childhood. I mean, to this day, that's something that I will still joke with my dad about. Because I don't even remember what we got in trouble for. But yeah, as soon as he hit them stairs,
Oh
everything he said went out the window.
man. Yeah. Oh, that's good, man. I'm glad that you were able to like I started laughing prematurely because I saw where it was going and you told me that things are okay, right? He's okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's
It
good.
could have been bad, but man, I'm glad that like laughter is a part of your life and
Yeah.
you bring laughter, but you also you express it yourself. And I think that's a beautiful thing because it's medicine. It
Yeah,
is
man.
medicine for so many people. And I know like when I need it, I get around my high school buddies and we like it's just that deep belly laughing that is uncontrollable. It's a look. It's like, man, it's so good for you.
Yeah. It's the greatest feeling in the world, you know. And that's a stress reliever in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Life is too short, life is too serious sometimes. So I'm intentional to keep people around me that I ain't trying to be all business 24/7. I need a good laugh. So and even on a speaker sense, bro, like I study comedians
Mm-hmm.
laugh, but they are the greatest storytellers.
Yes.
Man, you look at a guy like Ali Sadiq or Dave Chappelle,
Dave
man.
Chappelle. I got notes from Dave Chappelle. I got notes from Hassan Minhaj. I got
Mhm.
notes from Chris Rock. I got notes like studying them from a storytelling perspective, from how they will engage you in this story, and it's like sad, but then 2 seconds later you're laughing, and you're like, how
Yep.
did I go from crying to laughing? And then they wrap you back into this is the whole point of it, or it's so good, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
so good. That's dope. I know you onto some good stuff because you're studying the
Appreciate it.
comics.
Yeah, I have to see you some stuff, man. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Tell me, I was just going through your Instagram
Yeah.
and you talked about consistency earlier, but there was one thing that I think stood out. What does me versus me mean to you?
Man, that has layers to it, man. Um, I would say one layer is your past you versus your current you, right? Another layer is your current you versus your future you. You know, the version of you that only you know about versus the version that you show everybody else, right? I think one of my highlights literally says me versus me, and it's my like, you know, my fitness journey. And I'm thankful. I don't worked off about, I don't like to say lost, because if you lose something, you're looking for it, right? But
Hmm.
I'll say I like released about 60 pounds.
Wow.
But I remember, bro, seeing a quote that said, your public appearance is the decisions that you made in private. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So what people see in public is all the decisions that you made in private. And so oftentimes, man, you know, you got to get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm going to do this work, but I can't do all the work in the gym and then throw it away because I want to go get some canes or some Waffle House or some X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that crucifying the flesh in that moment, saying, okay, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody else in this moment. If I decide to do something that basically negates my progress, I'm delaying me meeting my future self by an extra day. And the ignorance of the situation is we just think that we got all this time to meet our future self. Like I'm learning how to really paint this picture, because if you here and your future self is here, you want it to go where you meet up. But what we end up doing is, if we're here and our future self is here, if I delay a day, my future self takes a step back, right? But what we don't see is over here, there's like a wall where we don't know how much time we got on this earth. And at some point, that future self is just gonna stop moving.
mm,
And now you've delayed all this time and you may have never been able to reach your potential. So that me versus me is saying, you know what? Today I'm going to make a decision and say, it ain't about what my current self wants, right? I ain't really tripping on what my past self did because I can't do nothing about it. Me versus me saying, I want my future reality to be louder than where I'm currently am. So I got to make decisions that'll get me there.
wow. Wow, that's powerful. And I love that image, that visual of the future self and how you progress along the way. And there comes a time. We all got a time. We
Yeah.
all got a time where we're gonna leave this earth.
Yeah.
And if you got this vision of who you want to be, how you want to be, how you want to show up in the world, and your actions today don't align with that, you're not gonna meet that person. You're not gonna
Right.
meet the future self. And that is a form of you, a higher version of you, the best version of yourself, however you want to look at it. Like your actions today need to reflect that.
Yeah.
So what is when you envision, okay, you 25 now, when you envision, let's say 40-year-old Stefan,
Yeah, man.
What are some of the things that you envision? Who are the people around? What are you surrounded by? What are you doing? What do you have? Who are you?
Yeah. Um, Bro, if I could have it my way, right? That's how I gotta preface this because whatever I say, God can be like, haha, that's cute. We're gonna do what I
Mhm.
want to do, right? But honestly, I'm a youth pastor now. I actually told my team yesterday, I said, I'm gonna retire at 40. You know what I'm saying? So that's 15, 16 years of doing youth ministry. I just love what I do. But honestly, bro, I plan on being in a place where probably in the Carolinas somewhere, settled. Of course, owning my home, but I really want to get more into consulting, whether that's through, working with kids and that leadership perspective, whether like I'm not really sure yet, but I know that I'll only be speaking in schools, but for so long, right? By the time I turn 40, I'll be doing it for 20 years. So finding
Mhm.
that, that next level. And then honestly, bro, I have this nonprofit. I have two that I started. One is for scholars, but another one is for entrepreneurs. But I want to create almost like a transitional center for people that are homeless, for people that are coming out of the penitentiary center. And I have this vision, bro. I want to buy out an elementary school, right? Or a middle school or a high school. I don't care what it is, but I want to buy it out. And a lot of these classrooms, I want to flip them, right? Turn them into like resident places where people can live, right? So if you're coming out of the system, what I want to do is give you an option for like 6 months. And now, a lot of these, schools got computer labs. They already got a gym in there, right? A library. So I want to use all this as a wellness center where for 6 months you can get yourself back on track. There's rehabilitation, pieces that we can help you. But then on top of that, career readiness, like all these different things, so that by the time you get out in a year, now you are actually ready to get back into society, but not find yourself in a situation where you got to go back to where you were.
Yeah.
So, bro, that's it. Consulting, and really helping people really, get a second chance at life. And if I do that, bro, I'm good. I don't need too much.
Man, that is a beautiful vision and it's so detailed oriented. Like you see what you're creating. And
Yeah,
I think like that's a lesson for people listening is like you have to be intentional about what you create. Like you said you had to have schedules in your day. You had to create structure in your day, but that structure in your day is also leading to this vision that you ultimately see for your future self.
yeah,
And so often you want to go we go through the motions and we just show up and we do this
right.
without the long-term vision in mind, and we wonder why we end up in the positions that we are in.
Yeah, man.
And I think that like you paint such a good picture of what the future looks like and what you're doing, who you're helping. That's a lesson. If you're older than 20, no matter what age you are,
Yeah,
like, come back to that because there's a young, I'm sure like there's a youthful part of you that is like, man, we gonna go do this and we gonna help
yeah.
these people. I saw this person over here. Like there's a youthful part of you that wants to do that. And there's a young version of the if you're in a job and you're in your career and you're like, man, I'm just doing this job to pay the bills. It's a means to the end. Like come back to that youthful version of you that wanted to do X. Like
That's
what was X? And can you do a little bit of X
that's
every
it.
day? Man, that's where life is. Cause like
Yeah.
we can't live to work. Like that I refuse.
Oh
I
yeah, we're on the
refuse.
same page.
I absolutely refuse. Like life is too precious. There's too much goodness out here in life to not enjoy the work that I'm doing and to only work to live. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't work for me.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, one of the quotes that I learned last year, and I live by this thing, man, is you can't be so focused on how far you gotta go that you don't appreciate how far you've come. And
Mm,
and really learning how to just be present, man. Like I think that
yes.
present when you're present, it gives you another level of gratitude.
Yes.
You take a moment and say, okay, no, I've come a long way. As entrepreneurs, bro, we understand it's always a new idea. It's always
Yep.
a new initiative. It's always something that we're doing. Like the whole trend with I don't know if you know who Aaron Hall is. I think that's the man name. But long story short, he'll be like, okay, you did 10K this month. All right, well, next month I need you to do 20K, right? And it's like, but as entrepreneurs, that's how we be. You hit that
Yeah.
first 10K month, 15K, 20K, whatever it is. And you're like, well, okay, now I got to do this. And you kind of find yourself, and there's nothing wrong with it in perspective because it's a pursuit to be better
Right.
and better and better. But sometimes you do got to just take a moment and be where your feet are and say, nah, like I remember a year ago, I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like, man, praying that I would be in a
Mhm.
position like this and I'm here.
Yep.
And as long
Yep.
keep our head down for so long, we can't even look up to see where we are and enjoy how far we've come.
That's so true. And I think about that, like that I think about it like in terms of capitalism and profit. Like my background, has been in wealth management, finance, accounting, and so much of it is like, okay, we made a profit this year. Can we grow that profit by 10, 15, 20, 30%
Yep.
more, the next year? And at a point you get to a place where when you think about where it started, where it's at, it gets a little bit unsustainable. And when
Yeah.
things get unsustainable, things start to break down. And what
Yeah.
I see now is like the breakdown can happen in the technology, and so we need new technology, or the breakdown can happen in the people. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing breakdown happen in people because we
Yep.
have these unsustainable goals for people to continue to push. Like we did 10, let's do 30, let's do 50, and again, like you said, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting more, with wanting to be better with that. But it's also to what end? Like, when
Yeah.
is it gonna be enough? Like, when
Yeah.
is it ever gonna be enough? And I think we have to reflect, bring ourselves back to the present to be like, man, let me look at how beautiful life is as it.
Yeah.
So, man, that's
That's,
that. Whew, how you get this wisdom, man? You 25 years old. Where you get this wisdom from?
man, I can't take no credit for it, bro. I promise you I can't. Growing up, they say you got an old soul. Believe it or not, when I was in 8th grade, my teachers would call me grandpa. Crazy, right? Crazy, bro, crazy. And I used to hate it, man. I'm out here trying to, talk to some girls in the hallway, and Miss Clark talking about some, hey, grandpa, like get to class. And I'm like, you messing up my game, you know what I'm saying? But bro, they would tell me like you're a lot wiser than what you were doing. I was making bad decisions during that time. And man, they just decided to speak life into me. So, bro, I really can't take credit. But I'll tell you this, and Reggie, I know you probably understand this. When it comes to wisdom, like experience is the only thing that gives you the test first and then the lesson, right? So you gain wisdom through a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I remember praying, bro, when I was 17, 18 for wisdom. The same way, God was talking to Solomon, was like, well, you tell me what you want. He was like, just wisdom. He was like, well, bet, since you said that, I'll give you everything else. But you don't just get wise overnight. You're gonna make some great decisions and you're gonna make some real bad ones,
Hmm.
but then over time you learn. So, bro, wisdom is a beautiful thing, but it definitely comes at a cost.
Yeah, it does. And I shared a post not too long, but no, I say about a year ago, where it was like when you find a man who's wise, like understand that that man has been through some things.
Yes.
The wise person doesn't just give you advice that is like, man, that really touched my soul because they read it in a book. Like maybe a little, but no, it's lived experience.
Yeah.
It's heartache, it's heartbreak, it is tragedy, it's trauma that has given that person a different perspective on a situation that allows them to give that wisdom, especially if it's coming from a younger person, a younger soul. Like I can only imagine what all you've had to experience to be grandpa in the
Yeah.
8th grade, and what you were exposed to and the things that you saw and the way that you turned those into lessons.
Mm.
Right? Because we can experience things, but they don't necessarily turn into lessons for everybody.
That's right.
You see people
Right.
running up against the same wall over and over again, and it's like you got to take something from that. Can you tell me a little bit about like some of those wisdom creating moments? Maybe it's the other end of watching your dad slip down the
Yeah.
stairs or something. But like what some of the people, some of the influences that got you some of that wisdom?
Man, I credit my grandfather a lot. Number one, um, they say the older you get, the more you become like your parents. The more you become like your grandparents. I laugh at my brother because, my dad is my stepfather, but I look at him as my actual dad. And I look at my stepbrother, who I look at like my brother. Y'all met him at the mastermind, and I'm like, bro, you got just like dad. You know what I'm saying? The older we get, and so I just studied my grandfather, very copacetic, right? Very full of wisdom. It takes a lot to shake him up. You can't move him, so people like that, like my stepfather. And then, bro, I don't know, man. Trial and error. I was a good kid, but I just made a lot of dumb decisions. And some of it came from wanting to be funny, class clown. Some of it came from wanting to fit in. Some of it came from wanting to be accepted, man. When you move every single year from the time you 5 to the time you're 15,
Mm,
That's a lot of experiences that you get. And that's a lot of different people that you come across. And so, you trying to find out how you fit, but now you in a new environment. So now your identity is all out of whack.
wow.
And so, man, I really can't pinpoint it to moments. I just like I got moments where I got in trouble.
Right.
But I think it really wasn't until there it is, really until I got to high school that I started to find out who I was, right? I
Mhm.
really didn't know. They had a rule in my house or my household growing up that everybody had to do a year of ROTC,
Yeah.
your freshman year. And so I did that. ROTC was phenomenal.
So for some young folks who don't know what
Of
ROTC is.
course. I don't know what it stands for, but basically it's like the military in high school, right? So like it was like Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. So if you're in high school and your school has a ROTC program, these are the ones that's walking around on Wednesdays with the uniform. So it's basically like I'm in the military, not boot camp, but it's an actual class, and they kind of prepare you for the military if you want to go that track. And so for me, bro, it taught me leadership. It taught me structure, taught me order, taught me a lot of different things. And I was at that school for about 2 years. So you take what I was learning in ROTC, the examples that I had from my stepfather, from my uncle, from my grandfather, and it all began to blend itself during this time.
Mm.
I always had an outgoing personality. I always knew I had a voice of influence. I just didn't know how to use it. And then by the time I got to my last 2 years of high school, man, it was a culture shock. My first 2 years, I was at a school here in Georgia, and it was a predominantly Black school. And then you end up moving to a school in the rural side of Georgia, Northeast Georgia, and I'm one of 13 Black students out of 1,300 students. Culture
Wow.
shock. You know what I'm saying? Like complete culture shock. And so because of this, it's not hard to stand out like a sore thumb. And it was a blessing and a curse in a sense, but definitely more of a blessing, because I saw what it meant to be a leader. People
Mm.
flocking to me, right? I had influence. You can be an influence and not be a leader. And so the influence that I had, in some form of fashion, bro, I just led the best way I knew how, got to college, and college just amplified what was already inside of me. And again, a lot of lessons, whoo, a lot of them. But
Yeah.
we here now.
Man, that is that. I mean, you said a lot, and I think there's so much to the experience that you've had. And one thing that I want to point out that is so beautiful are all the men that you talk about in your
Yeah,
life. The men that were there, that showed up, that showed you good influence, that were providing for you and guiding you through life. Like that for me, that was a rare. My grandfather was there. My grandfather played a huge role in my life. Outside of him, there were very few. And then it came. I had to attract that, and I had to gravitate toward that outside of the home and things. But I think that's a huge part of the man that I'm looking at and seeing
yeah,
today. And something else stands out to me, because I think when you normalize it for because it was your experience, you don't
yeah.
realize how extraordinary it is. But you said you moved every day from what'd you say, 5 to 15?
From like age 4 or 5 to 15.
And you think about that, man, like, cause some people stay in the same house their entire life until they go to college or until they move out to live their own lives. And the stability and the predictability and the safety and comfort in that versus there's something new. There's
Yeah,
something new to learn. There's something new to adapt to. There's something new that you gotta, there's fear on the other side of that. And how there is also grief. Like I'm sure some of those places you like, man, I love these dudes over here, these
God.
friends that I got, this room that I got, like all of that, man. Like, do you ever have you ever reflected on just those periods of time of the move and what that meant?
Yeah. This is my mom would always tell me, keep asking why until you get to the root.
Mm,
I say that
that's
because I've
good.
come to identify that a lot of people, when people act out, right, or if you hit a nerve, it's never surface level. It's always something beneath the surface, that is causing them to do this, right? Again, going back to your 8-year-old self. And so for me, excuse me, during that time in my life, moving every single year, I didn't realize the subconscious toll that it took on me, the instability, right? My parents were entrepreneurs before it was popular to be an entrepreneur, right? Started their business in 2008 in the middle of a recession. You know, my dad got, you know, he married my mom. He moved down to Georgia with his three kids, and he had a job lined up, and it fell through, right? And so immediately, my mom lost her job, and they had to kind of figure something out to supply for five kids, right? In 2008. And so, you know, there were times where, okay, you know, it's business. There's some seasons where business is cool and we okay, you know, but there were also times like I remember in 2009 watching the people from Aaron's Rent-A-Center coming to our house, and I'm asking my mom, why they taking the TV away, right? Why they taking the couch away? And all five of the kids is just looking and watching these people come take our stuff, right? I remember for years eating nothing but chicken and rice every day because my mom would get a big bag of chicken and a bag of rice was nothing but $1, and we're eating that for a week straight. And people would look at my family and be like, "Man, all your kids is skinny. Like you just, you know, y'all just fit. Nah, we hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we wasn't going to bed hungry, but we couldn't have these. Bro, I grew up thinking IHOP, Waffle House, Red Lobster, Denny's. I'm thinking these are high class restaurants because I never got to go. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, even going to McDonald's, kids getting Happy Meals, kids getting Big Mac meals, they would literally pull up and say, "Do you want a chicken or beef?" That's what they would say. And you would either get a McChicken or a McDouble. That's it. Ain't no fry, ain't no tea. It's just that. And good night, right? Because they were entrepreneurs. And so for me, though on the outward, it's easy for me to talk to people because I've had to meet so many different people. And then not just that, it's a blessing because I done lived in the hood. I done lived across the street from blood gang members, right? I done been in the trenches. I done been in the suburbs, right? I done been in beautiful communities. I done been in the country. I done been in the city, right? So I've been all over the place and I've learned how to be all things to all people. But it wasn't until I got about 22, 23, maybe even 21, when I started to really start to see success for myself and say, okay, now, Stevon, you've done what you needed to do. You in college, like you got all these awards. Now it's time to provide for yourself. And that's where I started to identify that I had a subconscious issue because there was a glass ceiling on my mindset. And I said, oh my goodness, I grew up in a household where my mama didn't make more than $40,000 a year. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it.
Yeah.
It affected everything that I did. I had a good commission job. I was working at State Farm. They loved me when I was in college. They wanted to bring me on full time, but I had to make some pivots. And then I went through a season where God told me to leave my job at State Farm and focus on the business of speaking, bro. And I remember there was a time I started getting complacent. It wasn't nothing wrong. I just knew my season was up, and I wasn't getting sales no more. Like I was in a funk. So I said, okay. Boom, I didn't hit 40,000 there. Started working for a company for years. Never hit 40,000 there. And now here I am in my entrepreneur journey. And I'm just now in a place where I'm breaking the limiting mindsets because a year ago, I remember asking God, if you allow me to get a check for XYZ, I believe it's possible for me. Yeah. I know I got the gift. I know I got the talent, but here's where it gets vulnerable, bro, because 8-year-old Stevon did not believe that he was worthy enough for somebody to pay him for his gift. And so I'm walking through life on it, bro. I know all these great things, cool. Right. But I'm struggling even with myself when I present my gift because I don't even know if I'm worthy about it or worthy of it. And then go a step further. If you tell me no, I internalize.
Yep.
Even though it's just business. Business. But because I had that limiting belief, bro, it affected everything that I did, man. And so it took some time. It took some time, man, to really get over that.
Bro, you have so much insight, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for the work that you've done because that doesn't come easy to be able to know yourself in that way and to be able to understand those subconscious beliefs to where they become conscious, and now you can start to make different decisions based off of what the past has told you. Those narratives that been written in your brain that, man, in order to be an entrepreneur, you gotta struggle. Your kid's gonna have to eat chicken and beef. Your kid gonna have to eat chicken and rice the rest of the week. And like that was a narrative that was written, right? Yes. Because they started entrepreneurship in a very difficult time to start entrepreneurship. right? And so that had to be changed in your life, and you had to see something different, and you had to create something different, and you're doing that, bro. And I love to hear that because like the world of speaking, I resonate with so much of your story, by the way.
Yeah.
Like from being one of very few students at a private school, where black students at a private school where most of the students were white, to
Yep.
man, I remember in the summertime, like when we didn't have school lunch because we just out, I would get the receipts. I would tell people, give me a receipt from Burger King, because if you call Burger King, filled out the survey, and then put the little code on the back, you get a free Whopper. And so I'm
Wow.
getting free Whopper. I'm eating Whoppers all summer long because that was free. And so like I resonate with so much of your story, and then how you moved around. And I think there's a lot of tragedy and grief and in moving when you're being stripped away. And I got a question I want to ask you about
Yeah.
that later. Um, and when you lose all these different things and different parts of what you've known, but also you know how to relate to so many people. Like, I think the thing that I don't have that you have is that the rural piece, right?
Mm.
I've been around so many urban areas and different
Yeah.
people in urban settings, but the rural piece, and I'm headed down to Florida next week in rural counties, and I've been down there before, but it's a different world from me. It's
Yeah.
a world that I hadn't experienced. And so it's beautiful to hear you take so many lessons from the life that you live, get the awareness that you have around these self-limiting beliefs, and start to break through those, man. I love that.
Thank you, bro.
I
Seriously.
absolutely love that, man. And like keep speaking it, like whatever the number is. Like, so I'm gonna be very transparent. I don't usually talk about like numbers, but like I had this goal when I first started my business. I was like, all right, this is gonna help me sustain to where I'm not like I started a wealth management business, managing investments for other people. I was like, I need this one number so that I can sustain, just like get my base and be cool.
Yep.
And I put it down on a piece of paper, and I was like, I need $5 million in assets under management. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean $5 million are coming to me. That means
Right.
managing $5 million of other people's money. I get a fraction of that. Right. And so I was like, I need $5 million in assets under management from one client. I wanted it from one client. And don't you know, within the next 3 months, that $5 million showed up. And I'm like, all right, let me keep writing numbers down. Let me keep
Yeah.
right here. Right. And the same thing with the speaking business. I wrote down a number that I wanted. I said $10,000. I want one for one speaking engagement.
Yep.
And it was some things coming in. It was some contracts that I was like, oh, so close, lost. So, and then don't you know that 10 came? Don't you
Come
know
on, man.
15 came? Don't you know at this point 25 is coming? And I'm gonna keep on going.
Of
Right.
course.
And it's all about you knowing your worth, because what I hear from you, I don't care how old you are, 22, 25, and people always like, because I look young, I'm a little bit older than you, but I look young. And so people will be like, what can this younger person tell me? And that already tells me about their mindset, right?
Yep.
You've already told me about your mindset. If you don't think you can gain something from this younger person because
Yeah.
of age, like
Yeah.
we already defined, like experience creates the wisdom.
That's right.
And so, like, man, keep writing, keep growing, and I'm so excited for you, man. And I cannot wait to share a stage with you. I
Yeah, man.
cannot wait to go back and forth with you and all of that, man. It's so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, my
Like,
brother.
I'm proud of you.
And I'm proud of you as well, man. Yeah, bro. I knew when I met you that first time, I was like, yeah, nah, there's something different about you. And not even just stage present, man, but being in our 20s, right? Being younger individuals, whatever the case may be. But understanding that, like you said, our age ain't got nothing to do with it, our mindset. Because you can be 80 years old, but still got the mindset of a 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just in that point where, bro, like when you talk about like that iron sharpens iron, right? Wanting to be connected to people where it's reciprocal relationship. So, I'm gleaning information from you, but at the same time, you gleaning information from me. You know what I'm saying? Just to really build each other up, bro. Like that's all I'm about. So, man, even to hear your success, bro, to see what you're doing, bro. Yeah, much love to you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Right back at you, bro. And before we switch over, because I do want to talk about success.
Yep.
I want to touch on one other point, because you said you lost 60 pounds, but you also said that you were skinny. Your family was skinny.
Oh,
And
I'm so
so
glad we're talking about this. Ooh.
Catch me. So there was a period in time where things shifted, right? The rice and the chicken changed, and you got to some bread, maybe, or you got to some different meals.
I got us some bread, but it wasn't the money bread.
Mm.
But I'm
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So you gained some weight, and what was that period of life like?
so Reggie, man, going into my junior year of high school, right? I'm 17, 16, and we just got to the new school. Matter of fact, I got a job before I even got to the school, right? So this is February of 2016, almost 10 years ago, right? And we pull up to this McDonald's. My dad says, I talked to the owner, hey, if you want to work there, like they'll hire you. So I go in there, I apply, I get the job. Cool, great. Here's the problem, Reggie. I've always been a kid where like greediness with food, right? I just eat. My mom used to call me garbage disposal because I just eat, 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 eat. But subconsciously, I'm used to being in an environment where you don't have abundance, right? So of course I'm gonna eat. So I go from, hear me, Reggie, only getting the McDouble when we go to McDonald's. I remember there was a time where we came out of family therapy, and because my parents said we did good, they got everybody a McDouble, a small fry, and a sweet tea. And now, you know what I'm saying? That was the cream of the crop, right? Now you mean to tell me I'm working at McDonald's and I get food for 50% off, and now I got money in my pocket. Reggie, I went bonkers. I was eating everything. And then by the time I came like a little junior manager and I found out I got food for free, oh, bruh, no. And so, bro, I was 135 pounds when I got to Habersham. And I probably left Habersham around about 260.
Whoa.
Bad, bro. And that one, maybe 260, 270, bro. 2 years straight, nothing but McDonald's every day. I got some money in my pocket, and I'm not understanding why I like eating so much. I just know that I'm doing it. And it wasn't until more recently, bro, that I realized it ain't even me eating for right now. It's almost like I'm trying to make up from all them times that I couldn't do it then.
Yeah.
There were times, bro, even to like, this is still something I got to fight to this day, because there are moments where I may not even be hungry, but subconsciously your brain is saying, but Stevon at 6 didn't get to do it, so go do it. You know what I'm saying? Even though it don't do nothing for him, it affects me now. Like that's how that still plays in, bro. And so I got up to 270 my freshman year, and I kind of stayed there for a couple of years, maybe got up to 280. And in 2021, had found this girl that I really liked. And I had tried working out before, but never stayed consistent with it, right? And I found this girl that I was really I really liked, and we hit it off, things were good, and she played me, bro. Played me. Bro, I was down bad. From May till August, maybe September, I lost like 50 pounds, right? But I thought it was discipline. This was the first time I ever had worked off weight like that. I'm in the gym twice a day. I'm barely eating. But I remember, bro, Reggie, man, I'm in the gym telling myself, I'll never let another girl make me feel like how she made me feel, right? And think about it, bro. In the community of men, it's an ongoing joke. You can go on Instagram right now and see somebody get played, see somebody get cheated on. I guarantee you, bro, you're going to see somebody in the comments that's going to say, well, I'll see you in the gym in the morning. We know, like, if something happens to us, we got to boss up. We got to be that dude. So we're going to go to the gym and outwardly, like, we're going to put this muscle on. But here's what's crazy. A lot of people are physically strong in the gym, but emotionally they're weak because they never addressed it.
Yeah.
And bro, that was me. And so what ended up happening, bro, is I got back into a relationship with a nice young lady at the time, and all that discipline I thought I had, wait,
out the window.
And I gained more weight than I did the first time. I probably got, bro, I got up to like 330, man, like in no time, right? And so it wasn't until I was like, all right, boom, really December of 2023 that I said, all right, bro, I got to have a conversation with myself, because if ain't nothing going to tell you the truth, them off-guard pictures going to tell you the truth. And it's because I didn't even know how big I had gotten, And everybody around me, for the most part, was pretty much like, you good, like you Stevon, right?
That's
Um,
where we see you at. That's how we see you. Yeah.
Exactly. But I wanted to be my best self, man. And so I'm not where I want to be. But I've gained so much in discipline. I've gained so much in consistency. I've gained so much in knowledge, bro. And so that's why I said it's still a battle. It is still a
Yeah.
battle. I'm still learning even now to make sure that, okay, as I get more affluent, as I get more resources, more income, more stability, I'm not making decisions based off of what Stevon at 5 needs, but I'm
Mhm.
making a decision that Stevon at 42 gonna be proud that Stevon at
Mhm.
25 handled this business.
Man, I'm at a loss for words because I hear the discipline, I hear the commitment to yourself
Yeah.
and the commitment to loving yourself a lot better. I've not, I haven't gained weight in my life. That's just my metabolism, my body, my
Yeah.
genetics and things. But I notice my habits with food. And like similar to what you said, like I could sit there and be full, but I'm gonna finish everything on this plate. And I may even go and get some more stuff because it was that scarcity mindset that I don't know when that next meal gonna come. And this right here tastes real good. And I'm not, I rarely ever got to go boxes. Everything's gone. I'm
Yeah.
clearing. And it wasn't until last year where I really brought some awareness around that. And I was like, I want to intentionally, whether I'm hungry or not, leave something on my plate and
Wow.
know that I'm in a different place where it's not the same mindset that I had when I was younger. And so
That's so
that's what I try to do now. Like whether or not I'm leaving something on that plate. And
that's really
it's a privilege to do that. It's an absolute privilege to do that. And I recognize that. So if you're not in that place to be able to do that, I get that. But a lot of folks, we are in different places than we were when we grew up or in past periods in life. And maybe the privilege and the honor that you give to yourself is leaving some of that food right there and honoring yourself. So, man, thank you for that, bro.
that helped me. That what you just said was really good.
Yeah.
Because it consistently challenges yourself to say, and those are the moments that we need. Because again, that don't speak to me right now. That speaks to me back then, saying, "Bro, you're good.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
ain't the end of it. Like
Yeah.
you good." So you helped me with that, man. Thank you.
Sure, man. And I'm gonna probably get this term wrong, but Hari Hachibu. It's a Japanese term that means eat until you're 80% full.
Mm,
Right? Eat up until you're 80% full and then let that be the new norm for full.
yeah.
Because we get full and we get the itis and we get sluggish and like that's our body's doing too much to process that, to digest that, and that's slowing down a lot of the metabolism. A lot of things are being affected when we have to do that. Our organs are working too hard. And so if
Wow.
we can get to that point of 80% full, it ain't bloated, it ain't man, like it's not that. It's just like, okay, I'm my hunger has been satisfied.
Yeah.
Let me move on. Like that is a place where it's a much more healthier form of eating. And so
That's
I hope that like, man, if that speaks to anybody, right? Slowing down so that you recognize, tapping into yourself, I am satisfied. My hunger is not there where it was before where I started eating. And then going from there, I think is a healthier place, hopefully for somebody out there. So man, thank you for that, man. I needed to reflect on that. I need
oh man, thank you, brother.
yeah, for sure. You spoke about success, and I'm curious. I used to ask this question in interviews to folks when I was, seeking jobs and things like that. How do you, Stefan, how do you define success?
Man, I think success is um it can be perceived in different ways. I don't think there's a cookie cutter way to say what success is, because what success to me can be different from what success is to you, right?
So
Uh,
what is it for you?
I would say for me, bro, it's a good question, man. I would say being able to look back at your frame of work, being able to look at the effort that you put in, and being pleased with the result that you got.
Mm,
I think that's success. Not even necessarily, I'm goal oriented. So I want to have a metric. I want to have a KPI. I want to have a number that I reach. But we know life, and that it don't always work out like that. You can do the best you can with what you have, uh, and not hit it. Does that mean you're not successful? Depends on who you talk to, right? And it really depends on what you're trying to do, because I do believe that failure is real as well. But I honestly believe that if you can look at your body of work, if you can look at what you've done, the hours you spent, right, the time you invested, the money you invested, right, to reach something and be satisfied with that and the end goal result, I think that's success. Whether you hit the actual number that you wanted to reach, whatever that is, if you can be satisfied with it and say, okay, I can wake up and go do the same thing tomorrow, I think you've reached a level of success.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. That reminds me of like I love reading biographies, and Steve Jobs. I think when he had been with Apple, then he left Apple, went to a company Next, and then I think he was with Pixar for a minute, came back to Apple. But like he said, like even in his early career, he's like he would look himself in the mirror and ask, "Are you excited about the work that you're about to do today?" And if the answer was no more times than yes, like I think he gave himself like let's call it three no's. Like if three no's happened in a row, he just left. Like
Yeah.
you imagine being the CEO of a company like Apple early in the early, times of Apple and saying, I'm not excited about this, bye.
Yeah.
But that's searching for what brings you peace and satisfaction and enjoyment in the work that you're doing. Because
Yeah.
we're gonna be working. We're gonna be doing
Yeah. That's
some
what
form of service or something for other folks in this life and to enjoy that.
yeah.
And I remember like I've challenged success, the definition, the ways in which we perceive it. I've challenged that a lot over my life because I at a young age reached, the pinnacle of success, especially coming from, where I came from
Yeah.
and getting to that place and then still being miserable, still being
Mm,
haunted by the past, still being haunted by my trauma and not understanding it, not knowing it. And I had to look at right the metrics. Like I was getting the metrics. I was getting the house, the car, the family, the all of that was I was checking the box on so much of that, but my well-being, my mental health was
yeah.
trash. And it's like, what is all this? This ain't success. Like if success leads me to a panic attack, laying on the ground, like hating the feeling that I feel in my body, then I'm not successful.
Uh,
I'm not successful. Like I was suffering successfully in silence.
ugh.
I was suffering successfully in silence. And I'm putting successfully in quotations in that because if my well-being is being sacrificed, then I don't view that as success. And so in any definition of success, I make sure that my mental, emotional well-being is prioritized in that as well. And so like I wanted to share that with you because we do
Yeah.
get caught up in chasing the numbers and chasing the goal and chasing the status even. And sometimes we just got to reflect on like, but does this make me happier? Does this make me more fulfilled in life?
Yeah. I completely agree. Um, I completely agree, man. Therapy has been a huge piece of the puzzle for me, right? Learning to be more self-aware,
Mhm.
learning how to be again just more present. And somebody told me, bro, if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive.
Facts.
And so I'm in that place and space in my life where I'm like, man, whatever I do, like I love what I do for a living. So I know I'm in the right field,
Yeah.
that even down to the people that I decide to engage with and commune with, I'm like, bro, my peace is everything, man. I didn't get it, bro, when we were kids and they would say the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I'd
Mhm.
be like, okay, don't go crazy. But when you find yourself in a season where your mind is under attack,
Mm.
it's panic attacks, whether it's stress, whether you always overwhelmed, whether you always overstimulated, and you like, dog, I can't like especially in the work we do, we gotta be sharp. Like our brain gotta be sharp. And if that joke ain't sharp, it throw everything off. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so it's
Mhm.
being able to say, I would rather, this is gonna sound crazy, I would rather struggle a little bit and have peace than have it all and my mind not be sharp.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather
Absolutely.
struggle and have peace because I know I can figure it out because my mind is sharp than be at the top and I'm good, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And like, oh man, that makes me think, and I'm trying to be sensitive around it because person has family. But one of my mentors was I would consider him at the top of success in the traditional sense, financially, Black entrepreneur in the city, Nashville, like killing it, like doing things that are unimaginable. And in his 50s, died by suicide.
Right.
And it's like, oh man, like here I am, young, growing up, like trying to figure out my own path in my life and what I want out of it. And I wanted to emulate so much of what he did, but it parts of that came at a sacrifice to his own mental well-being.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart to know that that was what was pitched as success for him, was
Yeah.
get to the top of this while sacrificing yourself in that way. And then so it breaks my heart. And I mean, like, condolences always to his
Yeah.
family and the love that I have for him and them. And it's just like I don't want that for anybody. Like if you made $1 billion but you are brokenhearted and miserable, like I don't want that for you.
Yeah.
Like there's a balance there. There's a balance there.
Yeah.
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 Uh man, before we close out, I got another segment, just fill in the blank.
Okay.
Um, and you let me know again, the first thing that comes to mind, short or long. Uh, vulnerability makes me feel blank.
Present.
Mm,
Present. I don't know why I say present, but I've been on a pursuit, bro. You ever meet somebody and you be like, I can tell you centered. Like I can tell you're here in the moment, right? And there's a piece that comes with that. And I think it's that vulnerability and self-aware go hand in hand for me. And I believe if I'm self-aware, then I can be more present. So that's what I would say.
right. It's like Lao Tzu said, as a Chinese philosopher. He's like, if you're living in the past, you are depressed. If you're living in the future, you're anxious. But if you're living in the present, you're at peace. So
Mm,
I love that, man.
I like that too, man.
My biggest superpower is blank.
My vulnerability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and if I ever have the opportunity to speak, bro, I tell them I'll put my business out there. Ain't nothing you can do to me about it. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like it has already happened. And here's what I realized, man. This is why I don't get caught up on any mistakes that I've made, but any struggles that I've had to go through. When you get past the point of thinking about yourself, it ain't about you. When you call, when you special, when you got something on your life, what you go through ain't got nothing to do with you.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? You said yes to the assignment, so you heavy is the head that wears the crown. Yes, but wear that joker well. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I realized, man, that I gotta put my business out there because if I go speak at a school, at a church, at whatever, you naturally gonna think I got it all figured out. You're
right.
naturally gonna think that I've never made a mistake because I'm up here, right? And you only gonna assume they put the best of the best. So let me walk you through some of the mistakes that I've made so that I know me and you on the same page. Prime example, I was talking to a student yesterday. He got trouble at school for vaping. They suspended my man for 10 days. It's my first
Mm,
time meeting him. But his mom reached out to me and was kind of telling me some things like 2 weeks ago about his behavior and some of the mistakes he's been making. So I was like, okay, I've been meaning to get with this young man, but now it finally happened. Reggie, I'm passionate, but I don't get mad. I found myself getting mad talking to this young man, not because he vaped. I ain't tripping on that. We can handle that. I caught myself getting frustrated because he was the oldest boy out of 3 kids. So I said, number one, your brothers are looking up to you. I'm the oldest boy out of 3. So we resonate there. Your dad not in your life, my dad wasn't in my life. We resonate there. So there's a standard that I need you to step with. So instead of me lecturing your head off like all these other adults is going to do, let me walk you through some of the dumb stuff that I did so you know we got a common ground. So you know I'm not fussing at you. I'm not even speaking to you right now, but I'm speaking life into the man you will become one day because I ain't going to give up on you.
mm,
Care about, bro, yes, I'm the youth pastor, but yep, I done did some dumb stuff. Let's talk about it. I done
yeah.
been where you been. I ain't got caught vaping it. That ain't my cup of tea. But there's some
Right.
other stuff that I probably that, you know what I'm saying? Like just young and dumb. So I can have that conversation. And by the time we left, he about ready to cry. but and not because I yelled at him, but because I tugged at his heart. But by the end of the night, meet him homeboys. Boy
Yeah.
just met me last night and he was attached to my hip because there's that connection there. So I
Yep.
think so highly of myself that I got to pull a wall up. Man, tear the wall down. I'm gonna let y'all in so that you can get healed.
Man, that's what vulnerability muscle is all about, bro.
Yeah.
That's what vulnerability muscle is all about. Flexing our vulnerability muscle because it allows us to heal. Like
Yeah.
there's healing in you saying, man, I was the oldest boy and I was making mistakes. So I'm talking a little part of me when I'm talking to you, but I'm also
Yes.
speaking to future you and things. Oh man, it helps us heal and it helps us heal others, man. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Man, if I could tell my younger self one thing, it would be Stefan blank.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Hmm.
Simple. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I love it.
That'll be it, man.
I got one. I need help with blank.
Ooh. Balance, getting out of my own way, and trust. Right? Because I had a conversation with my bishop yesterday, and I told him, and this stems back to my younger self. I said, Bishop, I got some big decisions that I got to make in front of me, you know, but I'm a little fearful, and I'm not fearful of, you know, like anything, but it's more or less, what if I make the wrong decision? Like people talk about like marriage and things of that nature. Bro, it's a beautiful thing. Yes. But you gotta know you're making the right decision when you step into that. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know that this is that, and it's like I've had experiences in my childhood where, bro, I'm talking about it'll be something where they say, Stevon, can you go grab the remote? Can you go grab my purse? And it would be the craziest thing. I would just always overlook it. Like I'd be looking hard, and it could be right in front of me, and I just won't see it. Right? I was a clumsy kid. So when my dad and my brother, they're building something, right? They already know I can't come around because I'm clumsy, right?
Mm.
And at first it didn't bother me, but even bro, this was like a year and a half ago, right? And I love my dad to death. I get why he was doing it, so I'm not tripping, but it hit my younger core because we went to Oklahoma to go see my family, and they were putting like a couch together. And I was like, okay, like I'm grown now. And my dad was like, nah, just stay in the house. Like, nah. And I'm like, dang,
Mm.
I get why he's saying it because I've always been, but I'm like, dang, I'm 25 or 24 or 23. You still think that I'm still, and so what I've come to learn over the last 2 months is all of that uncertainty, all of those moments have created a distrust in myself when it comes to making big decisions. And so now because I have that distrust, it affects how I navigate. So I feel like I'll need 1,001% confirmation before I do something. Or I'll self-sabotage and I'll just result back to myself. And I'm quick to be like, I'm good, I'll figure it out by myself.
Mm.
That may work at 25, but that's not gonna work at 67. Because I don't want to live the life of I've pushed everybody away that tried to get close to me because I was afraid that I was gonna mess it up.
Yeah. And it may work at 67, but it ain't gonna work to get you to that goal that you have to help all those people that you want to get to.
Yeah.
Like you are deserving of the greatest things that life has to offer. The vision that you have for yourself and something that is outside of your realm of possibilities right now is yours, and you
Yeah.
deserve that. And you have done so much work, and I can hear it through the words, bro. You've been in therapy, you've been healing yourself, and you've been getting to know yourself, and I freaking love that, man.
Thank
Like
you.
doing that and keep pouring into you in that way and those barriers, those limiting beliefs, those things, you'll start to strip those away, and they'll still be around at times. And I hope you lean on me. I hope you lean on your community to help lift you up through that, because you got power and potential in you, bro. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, man. This is such a good conversation. I can't even put too many words to it. But are there any final thoughts, any burning things that you want to get off your chest? Any last words you want to say to the audience?
Bro, this is what I just say to everybody, but I want everybody to hear me say this to you, bro. Thank you for your yes, right? again, from one person to another that does this type of work to help other people. They see what we do, but they don't understand the cost that it comes with, and so, bro, especially with a message that you have where you have to flex your vulnerability muscle, like that comes twofold because number one, you got to be mentally strong enough to want to show people your vulnerability muscle. But then also, you go to the gym, it takes reps to build muscle. So that's and bro, those people go to these bodybuilding shows just to watch people flex.
Mhm.
But when they're in the gym training, right, behind the scenes, nobody's there to see it. But that's how this is for you, where, bro, you've been doing years of this work, bro, to get to a place where now you can tap into things that happen in your childhood, even in adulthood, right? And be in a place where I don't have to cover it up. I don't have to, like, my younger self knows, nah, we okay. Like, we're good. Like, I can do this because, again, it ain't about me, but it's about the people that can get healed through the story in me, bro. So, man, I just appreciate you. I would just tell everybody again, don't be so focused on how far you got to go that you don't appreciate how far you've come. And I think if you keep that gratitude in your back pocket, man, the sky's the limit for you.
Yes, 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 man. I want to leave it at that. Stefan, how can people contact you? How can they reach you if they want to book you for speaking or anything else?
Yeah, man. I am Stevon Lester on all things. So my website is www.IamStevon Lester, Lester.com. And man, it's the same on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, the whole nine, man. We like to keep it consistent on this side. So I'm excited to see what we can make happen.
Absolutely. Y'all, please tap in. Y'all, this brother got wisdom and this man, I look up to him. Like I look up to him. So this is a gem that you'll bring in. So man, Stefan, I want to tell you one, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be all right, man. And with
Thank
all the things that you could be doing, all the places you could be, I appreciate you being here with me, embracing vulnerability.
you, bro. Man, thank you for having me, bro. Extremely grateful, brother.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of Vulnerability Muscle. If you've enjoyed these conversations around vulnerability, please consider leaving a review. Your feedback not only motivates us to continue to do the work that we do, but it allows other people to witness the power of vulnerability. Share your thoughts on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And don't forget to spread the word. You can follow us at Vulnerability Muscle on Instagram and me personally at Reggie D Ford across all platforms. Visit vulnerabilitymuscle.com for additional resources and support. And remember, embracing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is the source of your greatest strength. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but most workouts are. So keep flexing that vulnerability muscle.